Good afternoon. South Africans should brace for longer hours of power cuts. Eskom has implemented stage 4 load shedding from this hour. The power utility says this will be effected until 5 a.m. on Friday. Thereafter, scheduling will return to stage 2 load shedding until 5 a.m. on Saturday. The power utility says this is due to multiple power station outages. According to Eskom, over the past 24 hours, a unit each at Medupi, Kusile and Matla power stations tripped, while a unit each at Letabo and Ano power stations were forced to shut down. This, they say, constrained the power system further, requiring extensive use of emergency reserves and therefore hampering the recovery of those reserves.
Due to further shortage of generation capacity, Eskom regrets to announce that stage 4 load shedding will be implemented starting at 12 midday today until 5 a.m. on Friday, that's Friday morning. Thereafter, stage 2 load shedding will be implemented until 5 on Saturday as previously announced. Over the past 24 hours, a unit each at Medupi, Kusile and Matla power stations tripped, while a unit each at Letabo and Anot power stations were also forced down. This further constrained the power system, requiring extensive use of emergency reserves and therefore hampering the recovery of these reserves. Some generation units have returned to service, and we anticipate another 2 units to return during the day. Kubek Unit 1 has just returned to service and will ramp up to full capacity within the next 48 hours. Currently, we have total breakdowns of 14,900 megawatts, while planned maintenance is 5,300 megawatts of capacity. Load shedding is implemented as a last resort to maintain the stability of the power system regardless of the stage of load shedding. The implementation of stage 4 load shedding is therefore no cause for alarm, as the power system remains to be effectively controlled.
Let's get more on this. I'm joined by energy analyst Chris Yelland from EE Business Intelligence. A very good afternoon to you, Chris. Stage 4 load shedding, as we're just 4 days away from local government elections, and we just heard Sekonanti Machandra there saying that there's no need to worry about the power system.
I think there's every reason to be deeply concerned about the state of the power system in South Africa. The old plant is getting older every year. The new plant is performing poorly like old plant, and new generation capacity is not coming on stream fast enough from the public procurement processes. So, since the Integrated Resource Plan for Electricity was published in October 2019, and we had stage 6 load shedding in December 2019, and the President announced the so-called risk mitigation IPP program, an emergency procurement of 2,000 megawatt. Since all of that, not a single kilowatt of new generation capacity has come onto the grid from the public procurement processes. This is just too slow. It's not good enough.
Mm-hmm. So Andre de Ruyter has been in that position as CEO since January 2020, and like you're saying, it's not good enough, or it feels like more of the same. Is he capable of keeping the lights on as the head of the power utility?
Well, I think he and Eskom are doing what they can, but there's a lot of things that they can't deal with. So, for example, new generation capacity, the emergency risk mitigation IPP program, bid window 5 and bid window 6, new coal procurements in terms of the IRP, the Inga project in the DRC is supposed to deliver 2,000 megawatts, 2,500 megawatts, the delays to the new gas to power program. All of these things are completely outside of Eskom's control. They reside firmly in the hands of the Department of Mineral Resources and Energy and its IPP office. So those things Eskom can't deal with. What Eskom can deal with is bringing Medupi and Kusile on stream as fast as possible, and is fixing the design and installation defects at Medupi and Kusile. Eskom is doing this. Eskom is doing increased maintenance. But just remember, increased maintenance and switching off generators in order to fix design problems, which are a legacy dating back 10 years or so. All of this means generation capacity is not available for meeting demand right now. So the more maintenance you do right now, the less available to meet demand. The more you fix Medupi and Kusile by switching off units and doing these rectification work, the less that is available for generation. So I think Eskom is doing what it is possible and what is within its control. But when it comes to solving Eskom's debt problem, that is a shareholder issue. Department of Public Enterprises, National Treasury, those are the parties to speak to. When it comes to new generation capacity and public procurements, it's the Department of Minerals and Energy that you need to speak to. I think Eskom is doing what it can in difficult circumstances.
All right. What role does politics play in Eskom? I've seen you tweeting that the Johannesburg Mayor, Mpomwerane, is irresponsible for the way he's handled this Calvin Power Station Johannesburg load shedding issue.
Yeah, look, there is a lot of electioneering by politicians. They are in full electioneering mode right now and making promises that can never be met. We see this all around. Also, you see political parties claiming credit for things they had nothing to do with. I suppose that is the nature of politics and politicians. But I do think it's irresponsible. For example, this Calvin Power Station, is an old, obsolete power station. There has been a power purchase agreement with City Power and with the City of Johannesburg for many years. It's performing poorly. The plant is old. It is a coal-fired power station. It's inefficient. It's expensive to operate, and it cannot deliver power quickly. It cannot ramp up power when there is a load shed command by Eskom in order to compensate and to reduce demand. It takes many hours for a coal-fired power station to fire up a boiler and ramp up to full load. And a lot of this, it's the information that has been put out by the new mayor of Johannesburg has been shown to be wrong. And I think it is wrong to put out these messages. It's clearly electioneering. People in Johannesburg are fed up, and they are desperate to win the election. And so they're bringing up all these issues at this time, and probably this time next year, they'll all be quietly forgotten.
Chris Yelland, thanks so much for your time and insight on SABC News, speaking about the country being on level 4 of load shedding as we're just 4 days away from local government elections. Now,